Hello, and welcome to Rolling Out's Business Exchange. My name is Portia Monique, and today I'll be your host. We also have a fabulous guest, Tricia Mckenzie, who is the brand manager for Ambi Skincare and the multicultural skincare industry. With over 20 years as a marketing and new product development professional, Trisha has managed and accelerated small and large CPG brands in the agency and the client side. Welcome to Rolling Out's Business Exchange, Trisha.
Well, thank you for having me. Very excited to talk about our new Ambi product launch and to meet you. Thank you for the nice, warm welcome.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here. Now, I want to get into a little bit about what you do before we get into this product launch. So tell us, what does your day-to-day look like as the brand manager for Ambi Skincare?
Well, for Ambi Skincare in particular, and in a brand manager role, you're wearing a lot of hats because you're managing the business, but you're also managing the marketing efforts. You're supporting sales, you're speaking to your consumer. So a typical day is really not typical. So there may be times where, I have my to-do list where, I'm going to work with my R&D team and developing new product lines. I'm, looking at data to see what consumer needs are out there, or I'm in activation mode of, things that we have planned to support new product launches, or really just to maintain the business and, share what the brand is all about. So it's really dodging and balancing, all of the aspects. And then there's opportunities that come up and you just kind of have to pivot. But really, just making sure that you're living and breathing the brand and being the brand's champion and just making, the best decisions for what we put most of our energies in.
Wonderful. Now, how did your career path look into getting into your current role? Where did you start versus where you ended up as the brand manager?
Well, I started on the agency side. So it's doing more of creative development in helping brands get to their consumers in the most creative way. So really short story, the first job I had, I was actually doing what they called back then guerrilla marketing.
Okay.
So what we call now promotional people, I was out there doing street theater in New York City. And, at one point I was like, oh my gosh, I went to college for this, but, we got a, free PR on the Today Show. But it was really bringing the brand to life and cutting through the clutter. So coming up with creative campaigns. And then, after 10 years of working with several different agencies on different brands, I went from, food and beverage to wine and spirits, which is pretty exciting because kind of delve into the entertainment industry. A lot of great collaboration, great experiences. And then I moved to Florida. So it was like a lower pace, slower pace, but I went into a whole different thing. I went to the client side. So it was more of, managing the business. So I kind of hopped into different industries. And this is really the first experience in the multicultural realm and in skincare. I've only been at the desk for 2 months.
Oh, wow.
I feel like I've been here for years because we've accomplished so much. It's a brand that has strong heritage, and we're just, refreshing the brand and coming out with products that really will relate to our current consumer, so reintroducing the brand. So there's a lot of things that we have in store for next year, but I'll chat in more detail about what's going on right now with our launch. But the path has really been, exciting for me because I've learned about different industries. I've targeted different types of consumers, and it's now really pleasing to be in an industry where I am the consumer and on a brand that I have been using. And, I've seen, my, generation before me use it. So there's great pride in that.
Yeah. And Ambi is a trusted name in the beauty industry, right? So they've been around for quite a while. Let's get into talking more about this new product launch. What do you have going on about your new product line from Ambi?
Well, in last month, we launched a new line of facial cleansers. And what's special about this is that it has a, proprietary complex called the sweet potato complex. And you may ask why?
Why?
Why sweet potato?
Why
There's a
sweet
couple
potato?
things, you know, our consumer is really looking towards, clean products, natural ingredients, and, we listen to the consumer needs when we're developing products. And we discovered that, although there are products out there in the beauty skin industry using pumpkin, we've discovered that sweet potato has more antioxidants, more nutrients than pumpkin. And, within our culture and community, we know that it's sweet potato over pumpkin, right?
Absolutely. You better not show up at Thanksgiving
Exactly.
with no damn.
Don't come with the wrong pie.
You better not show up with no damn pumpkin pie. By the way, I did make that mistake once, but it's fine. I was over it.
You were correct.
I learned my lesson.
So, so it was really, research on, the most nutrients. And this is the first brand and product line that has incorporated sweet potato, and it's referred to as beauty food. With melanin skin, there is, often a, hyperpigmentation, and the antioxidants help to, address hyperpigmentation of melanin skin. So it made complete sense. Our products are formulated specifically to give the benefit of even toned skin.
Okay. Now, what was the inspiration behind even doing the research to find out about sweet potatoes? What inspired the use of that sweet potato extract?
It's really the trend of, clean beauty. It was really the trend there. And we said, listen, there's so many options because we use a lot of natural ingredients in our products. As you can see, we provided 3 different facial cleansers that address, dry skin, oily skin, sensitive skin, combination skin. And we have, the chamomile, we have shea butter, we have coconut butter, we have the charcoal black soap, which is my favorite because I have very oily skin. So that's really what inspired it. What other natural ingredient that really will nourish and provide the skin with an even tone?
Now, you started naming some of the products that are in the product line. Can we kind of go through them? We see the products in the background. Can you just kind of walk us through the products and what they do?
Yes, well, we have a full portfolio for Ambi. And I know that some people that I've been speaking with, they really only knew one product, which has been around for the 50 years, but we have a set of cleansers, we have a toner, we have moisturizers, and we have a treatment line that is, not only, a cream to address the dark spots that we get from hyperpigmentation, but we also have serums. So in the cleansers, our latest is the sweet potato, and there are 3 different kinds. And we also have a foaming cleanser, and we have an exfoliating wash, which is really addressing, those that have acne prone. Now that people are wearing masks, I even experienced it, and the product works for me. The exfoliating wash really allowed me to kind of calm the skin and treat the the breakouts that I was experiencing right along the jawline.
Yeah, I think they call it masking.
Yes, it is. Masking. So, it's been a great solution now that I've been working on the brand to actually, use a product, and it leaves my skin feeling really soft and no breakouts here. So now I'm in treatment mode.
Beautiful. Absolutely.
Yeah. And then, we have a toner, which is refreshing. You can use it right after you cleanse, and also to just give you a little refresh. So you spray it on your face, and they have really great smell. So, it's close to your nose, but it's very refreshing. And as I mentioned, we have a moisturizer. Right now we have one, but we'll be launching another one with the sweet potato complex next year. and it includes SPF. So it's very important to protect your skin, even black skin, melanin skin, with an SPF when you're exposed to sunlight.
Now, you mentioned a serum. How do you use a serum if you haven't normally used it in your routine before, or if you're new to serums? And then I want to ask you a follow-up question after that regarding oily skin and serums. But yeah, how do you use the serums?
So we have two. We have an under eye serum, and then we have a full face serum. So it's usually after you cleanse. And then it's good to make sure that you have maybe a tool, or you kind of like make sure that it's penetrated in the skin, or you could use a beauty tool to make sure that it's in. And then you put your moisturizer. So you can treat the eye. Most people tend to use that at night, but it's really absorbed by the skin. So it's not that this sticky, it's not sticky. It is absorbed, and you kind of, this is the most delicate part of your skin for the under eye. So you just kind of dab it. Or if you're using the full face, so you would just like put it on like this.
And what is it used for? I'm new to serum, so I'm trying to do some research on it. But honestly, I have kind of shied away from them because, like you, I have oily skin as well. And I always thought that putting oil on my skin would, just make it oilier, and it would kind of defeat the purpose.
It helps with brightening. So another thing, there are areas on your skin that become dull and dark. So it helps. It has vitamin C in it. So it helps to give that skin the glow and the brightness, and also to kind of strengthen, the pores if you have large pores. So.
Okay. Now, thank you for that. I'm still kind of apprehensive about it. I'm gonna try it. I don't know if
it because I've recently started using it a year ago. Now that I'm a woman of a certain age, I'm like, okay, I need to get my skin together. I've been blessed, but you want to maintain.
Yeah. Now, speaking of getting your skin together, why is it important to have a fall skincare regimen?
Because with the climate and the weather change, it does affect. So, they call it free radicals. So, if you're in an area that is cold, your skin tends to get dry. Even if you have oily combination skin, there may be areas that are dry patches, which I experience. It could be around, maybe a breakout, or it could be around an area that's irritated. It's good to always moisturize your skin so that you're keeping it, supple and moisturized.
And what are the steps routine wise with this new Ambi line? You wash, you tone, you moisturize, and then serum. What are the steps?
Well, you definitely cleanse first, then you can put your toner on. Some people opt not to, use toner at that time, but, it's good to kind of balance the pH of your skin. And then you could add the serum and moisturize.
Okay.
Some may alternate because, you have to use a skin regimen for at least a month to see what really works with you and if the products agree with your skin. Sometimes you might switch out a formula. Some people may think I have dry skin, but they may discover that no, it's really combination, more on the oily side because my T-zones are a little more oily. But give yourself a month to use a product and a regimen to see if it agrees, and then you can switch it up.
Okay, wonderful. And then the last question on the sweet potato product line. What other upcoming products for the sweet potato installation do you guys have coming up?
Like I mentioned, we will be launching our moisturizer because we have this full line of facials. We should have a moisturizer. So that will be launching mid next year. And our moisturizers also have 30 SPF. So you'll have that as well. And we're going to have some big things coming. I can't share all the details now, but, keep your eyes open. There's a lot of big surprising things happening for the brand.
Sounds wonderful. Now, all this talk about sweet potatoes got me thinking about Thanksgiving.
Yes.
It's a wonderful holiday we all are looking forward to every year, right? But what's your earliest memory of sweet potatoes?
Oh, definitely Thanksgiving dinners.
Yeah.
Definitely Thanksgiving dinners. And, my family, they're not from here. They're from the Caribbean. But
Oh,
when, they moved, they adopted the entire tradition. So,
wonderful.
they made sure they had the turkey. They made sure they had, the candied yams. I mean, as a kid, I liked it with, the marshmallows melted. I still like it now. I
Absolutely.
probably shouldn't have it, but we definitely
That
have that.
makes
That's a
two of us.
staple.
Listen,
Yeah.
Tricia, that makes two of us. I probably shouldn't have it. And but I tend to think of it as a healthier alternative from like regular fries or something. Like I'll go out and I'll
Oh,
just order
yeah.
sweet potato fries.
Yes.
But for Thanksgiving for sure, like you gotta have it and don't mess it up.
Don't mess
Please,
it up. Or
don't
you're
mess
just
it
going
up.
to have, no, don't put it on the table if you messed it up.
Yeah, it's
But it's pretty easy. And, eating it, there's all the nutrients that I
yeah.
told you. So it's not just a topical nutrients for your skin, but if you're eating it, it's still, so it kind of negates out the sweetness on top.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now I want to get into you as a brand manager right quick. So, as a brand manager, and I know you've only been on the job for about 2 months, but what are some of the innovative things and tools that you use to stay ahead of the competition?
We really just talk to people,
Mm,
talk to consumers. Not a lot of brands have the budgets to like sit and have these huge research studies that take 12 months. Talk to people. I go a lot out into the store and I observe people in the aisle. I ask them why they choose, what are they looking for, why are they looking for those things. I mean, that's how I got up to speed on the job. It's a new industry for me as a marketer, but I'm a consumer as well. What attracts, and you kind of like talk to your friends and your colleagues who are within that target consumer base. What is missing?
mhm.
What do you look for? Like, how do you express, I need this, that, or the other. A lot of them like to give reviews. A lot of them, they talk, they blog, they're professionals. And that's really how I get information.
Yeah. And that leads into my next question about collaboration. How do you use collaboration as a marketing strategy?
Well, there's so many brands, and we're working on some things right now that I think would be a great fit. They're speaking to the same consumer. They have the same goals. They have the same ethos as a brand. So we know that we want to serve our community. We want to make sure that target consumer is getting a quality product. And when you identify, the passion as well as the benefit to, your consumer base, that's what really, make sure that the collaboration gels well.
Mhm.
So that when we actually come together and we bring it out to the, public, they say, oh, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense.
Mhm. Now, disruption is a key word that we tend to hear nowadays.
Mhm.
And I want to ask you about disruptive ways to launch new products. How do you do that? What are some of the disruptive ways to launch new brands, products, and services that you guys may have?
I don't know that I have the formula all worked out,
Mm,
but the beauty industry is pretty big.
yeah.
There's a lot of noise out there. You really have to say, okay, am I going to put my energies into being a Me Too product or Me Too brand, or am I going to figure out what my point of difference can be? And
Mhm,
am I really addressing the consumer's need?
mhm,
That's really how you break through the clutter and really disrupt.
mhm.
Also, the way you do things. So, yeah, we can just, send product in the truck, get on to the shelf and maybe do an ad and a blog, but there are other ways,
Mhm,
kind of like maybe get grassroots.
mhm.
We all can spend a lot of money on advertising. Some of us can, some of us
Yeah.
can't.
Mhm.
But you kind of have to like, how can I get in front of your consumer
Yeah.
in a non-traditional way? So it may take longer, but I think to really like get your message across. You may have to start in a more intimate manner, like how we're doing right now, really talking about, okay, what are the, obstacles? What do consumers really want? And I think just having a point of difference in what you're offering will and really have a meaning, like the why.
Yeah.
Why is Ambi here? Why are we, providing this product offering?
Absolutely. Now, to your point of you may have a lot of money to spend on advertisers, you may not. Let's pivot into social media. How do you guys use social media in helping your brand's awareness?
Social media really is everything. It's in the engagement. It's making sure that we are in touch with who we need to. It is just a landscape right now that leads it. And it's not really just for entertainment. It's a two-way conversation. We post things, people comment. Do we listen? Yeah, we listen. Do we respond? Do we pivot and make decisions based on how we respond? We may have this huge campaign and it may not work. We'll hear about it in real time.
Yeah.
Or if it works in real time, or we should be doing more of this. One of the things that we're doing is that we have, engaged with a dermatologist because they also have an authority on skincare, and Ambi is the skincare authority. So, there's education and information. There'll be an opportunity for dialogue that they can ask, what can I do? What's happening to my skin? Outside of just recommending our product, what are some things that you can be doing that go beyond, saying, here, buy this.
Yeah. Now, what's the forum for that? What's the format for that? How do I talk to the dermatologist at Ambi?
Well, we are working on it. We have someone that we had a program that was active for a period of time last year, but we will be kicking that off again.
Okay.
We have a partnership with Dr. Mitchell right now, and she has, done a few interviews and have been featured in some publications talking about, recommendations for different issues with your skin. But, what I hope to do is get the dialogue part of it going. So that's something that's in the works.
Yeah, I definitely think that will be a huge surprise and delight for people to be able to dialogue with a dermatologist about which products to use. I definitely see that as being a benefit. I would talk to one as well, like, okay, the serum thing, I need to know what, what I need to do for the serum thing. So as a brand manager, you have a wealth of experience and knowledge. What are 3 books that you would recommend for entrepreneurs, business owners, marketing and brand professionals?
Oh, wow. I'm stumped there. I'm a little stumped there with, entrepreneurs, because I haven't been an entrepreneur, but, one of our co-owners of the brand, I'm just, haven't met her in person yet, but she is an ultimate entrepreneur. And, it's really just really supporting each other is what she mentors a lot of small business owners. She mentored, a few of the influencers that we worked with. And she continues to do so. So really sharing kind of, her, I can't even take, I can't take any of that. But she really, I haven't met her in person, but I really have to say that the fact that she shares what she's learned over the years, and she goes back and she encourages, I don't know that a book can really provide that.
Yeah.
But linking with someone that's doing it, and, reaching back and holding, different workshops, and she's traveling and supporting all of these other small business owners that are in hair care and skin care and, within the beauty industry. I think it's more valuable because she's pretty candid about any of the stumbles and the decisions and the alliances she's made, and she's doing it.
Yeah.
And she doesn't feel like she's limited Like,
Absolutely. Experience is definitely the best teacher, even if it's not firsthand experience, right? So learning through someone else is definitely high up there on the list. Now, can you share her name? Who were you referencing?
Miss Jermaine Lanford,
Okay.
and she's one of our owners, and she has a foundation, and I can give you her information later on, but to me, just being kind of new to the family,
Mhm.
and just being aware, I wish I had known someone like that in my career, because the confidence that she gives these small business owners, I mean, I would have
Yeah.
gone the entrepreneurial route,
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
but yeah.
Now, we want to follow her on social media just so that we can walk through her experiences just like you and learn from them as well. So if she has a social media page, we'll see about that
Yes.
if you can share it. Yeah, absolutely. Now, in that same vein, are there other people that inspire you? And if so, in your industry, and if so, can you share with us how?
Well, I'll have to say, so recently, I mean, I've had really great bosses and supervisors. Although, my new boss, strong woman, definitely have, done both, the corporate as well as the entrepreneurial. She's our head of marketing, very strong, very smart, and just on it,
Mhm.
and that's Nicole Ray Robinson. I also have my previous boss, which is another strong Black woman that I worked under for 8 years, Leanne Masso Damaya, and she basically taught me, listen, there's never a no, there's always a way, and get creative. And we've kind of worked in entrepreneurial environment, which
Mhm.
have very small brands, and you kind of have to learn as you go. Don't be fearful. Just because you didn't go to school for that doesn't mean that you can't learn and get on with it.
Yeah.
It's not the traditional corporate stuff,
Yeah.
where you have a team for everything to do what you need to do. You
Mhm.
figure it out, you ask the questions, and you do a risk assessment.
Mhm.
There's some people who actually go to school to do that type of thinking. And they really inspired me, because there have been situations, as you know, with small brands, or if you're an entrepreneur, there are challenges just like there is in corporate America. It's just
Yeah.
that you could probably get to the solution faster with teams upon teams upon teams. But these two women in particular have shown me that, you can learn and problem solve, if you just have, the confidence and you pull together.
Yeah. How wonderful and what great advice to share with you, right? Especially the part about there's never a no, get creative. And what was the third one? There's never a no, figure it out and get creative.
Get creative, do your own risk assessment.
Yeah, and do your own risk assessment.
Not everything has to be formal and laid out.
Yeah, yeah. It's absolutely wonderful to have women like that in your life who help and inspire you and show you the
Hmm.
way and give you, some of the things that they experience firsthand, but give it to you and then you can just learn from them, right?
Hmm.
So that's definitely a great thing. Now, last question. I want to know what are two statements as a brand manager that you swear by, you live by?
um Definitely, when you're working on a brand, listen to the consumer. Let your consumer lead the way.
Now that sounds so cliche, right?
It does.
But it's truth.
It's truth to that. I've worked on many brands, as you know, some big, some small, where, you know, and I've worked in environments where the plan is 5 years out. I don't know that there's room to really understand the consumer, and what they do, but your new products, your innovation, your path should be listening to the consumer. And I think the generation now, they're not really just taking what's being served to them.
Mhm.
You know, they want to make sure that the brands that they're supporting, that they are, you know, spending their hard-earned money on, actually align with what they believe.
Mhm.
And it's pretty, you know, truthful,
Yeah.
like not just on the surface, but within the organization.
Mhm.
And if you're leading with, you know, consumer needs, you will always do well.
Now, I want to pivot just a second before you answer the second statement, but what are some ways that you use to collect that information of listening to the consumer? How do you capture your information?
Really having a dialogue. So, you know, there are several ways. You can do, you know, segmentation study, you can do focus groups before you ever launch anything, you can do simple surveys, you can go and talk to consumers, you can attend events. So we have events, we attend events, we sponsor events, but, you know, I as a brand manager always tend to talk to people while I'm at the events,
Mhm.
you know? Like in speaking with you, you really are, it's clear to me that people are not really educated on how to use a serum.
Mhm.
You know, serums
Wow.
are growing in the
Mhm.
beauty industry, but are we really educating people, or we're just saying, oh, here's another thing to add? You know,
Exactly.
listening to folks, do they want to have another product to put on, or do we do things where we're combining?
Yeah.
And that you get from, you know, a dialogue with the consumer. We have people who will just DM, you
Mm.
know, their thoughts and feelings and
Yeah.
questions.
Mhm.
And I know our partner agencies, you know, they'll get it back to us,
Yeah.
whether to answer or to like think about it. So we take into consideration the consumer complaints, the reviews, the questions we get in the DM, as all of the consumer,
Yeah.
um, you know, response and feedback. What do they want?
Very
So if you
insightful.
keep your marketing and your product development and, you know, really the trajectory of the brand consumer centric, I think that's how you grow, and
Mhm.
that's how you really provide a benefit.
Very insightful. Thank you for sharing that. And it's good to know that you're intently listening to the customer by any means necessary, right? So you're in the DMs, you're at the events, you're doing focus groups. So you're listening, and that's key and that's important. But I didn't know that sometimes companies take it that serious to actually listen to the DMs, right? Because
Well, in my personal career, we learned to do that, because when you get scrappy and you don't have these big budgets to do research every year, and really timing. So I'm planning 18 months in advance for what the marketing strategy should be. You know, a lot of the times I don't have the time to really see how effective what we executed, you know,
yeah,
in real time, and get that feedback before I'm setting the next strategy. But now everything is, you know, real time, social. You'll get a review, whether it's on your website or in
yeah.
Amazon, just how they feel about a product. You don't
Yeah.
have to wait until you conduct a study.
Yeah, and let me tell you something. I am adamant about reviews. I give them and I also check them
Mhm.
before I buy products, before I buy a service or go somewhere. Like reviews are very important. So
Yes, it
yeah,
is.
yeah,
Yeah, and you know, they're not just reviews standalone. It's really what your consumer is saying to you.
absolutely. Okay, and then last but not least, the other statement that you live by as a brand manager.
Um, Allow yourself to pivot.
I like
You
that.
know, there's a plan. There's always a plan. We always have a plan.
Yeah.
Allow yourself to pivot, because it could be for the greater good than not. You know, when we do brand planning, it's a few months, and we're writing these huge decks, we're gathering as much data, we're making an analysis, and then setting a strategy. And it's really hard after all of that hard work to be midway and then pivot. And
Mhm.
that's what I've learned from my professional mentors, within, you know, my profession. And this is something new,
Mhm.
because it was not, oh, no, 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 the plan is in. Yeah,
Yeah,
like you have your life plan. Okay, I'm going
yeah,
to do this, this, and this is where I'm going to be when I'm 20, and this is where I'm going to be when I'm 30, and all of
yeah.
that. But sometimes life happens and you have to pivot,
Wow.
and test and learn.
Test and learn. Don't be
Test
afraid to
and learn.
pivot and listen to the customer. I love it. And before we go, we did get the Instagram name of the social media person that you were referring to, Jermaine, Miss Jermaine. So
Mhm,
her Instagram name is at Detroit Jermaine.
mhm.
She had to be a Detroit girl, right? What up, though? Shout out to the D. Again, her at is at Detroit Germaine. That's G as in go, ERMAINE. So go follow her. I know as soon as I'm off of this, I will definitely follow her as well. But I'm going to give you a chance to let us know where to follow you and the Ambi page and the products and all of that as well. So I'll be following all of that today.
Okay, well, Ambi.com, that's our website, and then Ambi Skincare on Instagram. We have a lot of content, a lot of education on how to use the products. You'll be seeing more information from our dermatologist partnership coming soon. We have some teasers of what's to come. We have, some influencers talking about our product. For those who want to know a little bit more about the sweet potato products, we have tons of information in form of, videos, posts about, what the sweet potato complex can benefit your skin. And we have, full skincare regimen for the Ambi brand. So just, you know, visit,
Wonderful.
come back,
Okay.
send us a note if
Will
you have
do.
any questions, and we'll respond. We'll get back to you.
Thank you so much, Tricia, for taking the time out to stop by Rolling Out's Business Exchange. I am your host, Portia Monique, and it has been a pleasure. Take care.
Likewise. Thank you for having Ambi.
Thank you so much.